You ever sit in your room, staring at the ceiling, wondering why nobody sees the pain you're carrying? Why nobody checks in on you? Why nobody cares that you're struggling? Let me tell you the hard truth most won't say out loud, but he cares. Work harder. That's it. That's the difference between people who make and people who don't. You think your pain is special? You think your story is so heavy that the world should pause and comfort you? You think your excuses are enough to get you off the hook? They're not. The world keeps moving. Life keeps going. And the only people who make it are the ones who learn how to grind through the tears, push through the silence, and rise without applause. Your story might be painful, yes. Maybe your father wasn't around. Maybe your mother worked 2 jobs and still came home tired. Maybe you were bullied, broke, overlooked, underestimated. But you got 2 options. You can carry that pain like a weight that holds you down, or you can use it as fire, fuel, energy. Because while you're sitting around waiting for someone to validate your effort, somebody else out there is getting up at 4 a.m., running in the cold, training in the dark, building in silence. And they're not asking for credit. They're not asking for pity. They're focused on results. You don't get to cry and quit. Cry and grind, cry and keep going. Nobody's coming to save you. No one's handing you a trophy for trying. You get what you work for, not what you wish for. You're not tired. You're just soft. You're not overwhelmed. You're under-disciplined. You're not unlucky. You're underprepared. You say you want success. You say you want to make your family proud. You say you want to break generational curses. But when it gets hard, you back off. When it gets uncomfortable, you look for an exit. You talk more than you act. You dream more than you move. Stop talking about it, be about it. The grind doesn't care about your feelings. Your goals don't care if you're having a bad day. The clock keeps ticking whether you're ready or not. So you better get up and do something about it. You better fight back. You better look in the mirror and say, enough is enough. I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm not going to let my circumstances control me. I'm not going to let the opinion of others define me. Every great story has a turning point. That moment when everything changes. This is your moment. But it only changes when you change. You got to rewire your brain. You've got to retrain your focus. You've got to stop running from the pain and start using it. Stop hiding behind excuses. Stop blaming your environment, your parents, your teacher, your city, your situation. Own it. Own every piece of it, because when you take ownership, you take control. You want to stand out? Then do what others won't. Sacrifice, hustle, discipline, consistency, day after day. When it's raining, when it's cold, when you're tired, when nobody's watching, that's when champions are made. Not when the lights are on, not when the crowd is cheering, but when it's just you, the work, and the silence. The reason you're stuck is because you're waiting for motivation. But motivation is weak. It fades. What you need is commitment. What you need is discipline. Motivation gets started. Discipline keeps you going. Get up every day and work like your life depends on it, because it does. Your dreams depend on it. Your future depends on it. Your legacy depends on it. You say you want success, but are you willing to be alone to get it? Are you willing to be misunderstood? Are you willing to be doubted? Are you willing to go broke before you get rich? Are you willing to fail publicly to win privately? That's the price. You can't skip the struggle. You can't bypass the process. You have to pay the cost up front in sweat and sacrifice and silent nights of relentless work. There's no magic formula. There's no shortcut. Just hard work over and over again. You don't need more followers. You need more focus. You don't need more applause. You need more action. You don't need a break. You need to break the old version of you and become someone new. The world doesn't owe you anything. In fact, it wants to test you. It wants to see how bad you want it. It wants to break you before it builds you. But the ones who survive, the ones who thrive, are those who don't flinch, who stand tall in the face of storms, who say, I don't care how hot it get. Because on the other side of pain is power. On the other side of failure is greatness. On the other side of every no is the yes that changes everything. So if you're tired of being overlooked, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of watching others win while you sit in silence, then it's time to take ownership. Time to shut out the noise, time to outwork, outlast, and outgrind everybody. You may not be the most talented. You may not have the most money. You may not have the perfect setup. But if you've got heart, if you've got grit, if you've got hunger, then you got enough. Nobody cares how you feel. Nobody cares how hard it's been. Nobody's going to hand you success. And that's a gift. Because once you accept that, once you stop expecting the world to care, you'll start doing the work that changes your life. So lace up, lock in, go get it. Because nobody cares. Work harder. You want to win, right? You want to be successful, be legendary, be remembered. But here's the part nobody tells you. Winning isn't about talent. Winning is about obsession. It's about how bad you really want it when the lights are off, when your phone is dry, when nobody clap, and when nobody even notices that you're showing up every single day. You see, people think success is glamorous. They see the highlights, the trophies, the big checks, the followers, the speeches. But what they don't see, early mornings, the lonely nights, the sacrifices, the days you cry in silence and still show up, the times you're so exhausted but still put in the reps. That's the grind. That's what creates greatness. You keep asking, how long will it take? You're asking the wrong question. It's not about how long, it's about how deep. How deep are you willing to go? How much are you willing to give? Because if you're still talking about balance, if you're still talking about taking it easy, if you're still making space for comfort, you don't want it bad enough. You got to be all in, fully committed, burn the boats, burn the plan B. It's this or nothing. You either make it or you die trying. That's the level of intensity it takes. Because let me remind you again, nobody cares. You keep walking around carrying your pain like a badge. And yes, I know it hurts. I know you've been through some stuff. I know it hasn't been fair. I know people let you down. I know life hit you in ways you didn't deserve, but none of that changes the fact that the work still has to be done. You want to be free? Then stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to go after your dream. You don't need their approval. You don't need their support. What you need is commitment. What you need is heart. What you need is hunger that doesn't sleep. People are going to doubt you. They're going to laugh. They're going to disappear on you. Let them. Because while they're sleeping, you're building. While they're partying, you're practicing. While they're talking, you're working. And in a few years, when your life looks like something they can't even comprehend, you'll know why you stayed committed. But it only works if you stop quitting. See, that's the real problem. You start, then stop. Stop. You get fired up, then disappear. You show up when it's convenient. That's not discipline. That's emotion. And if you only work when you feel like it, you're never going to make it. Discipline means doing it whether you feel like it or not. It means showing up tired, showing up broken, showing up when your mind is screaming to stop. Because those moments when it's hardest to keep going are the very moments that shape you. You keep asking for ease, for clarity, for sign, but success isn't quiet. It's loud. It's messy. It's chaos. And you've got to be strong enough to stand in the storm without flinching. You've got to learn to be calm in the chaos, to find peace in the process. You've got to fall in love with the pain because pain is a currency of growth. Let me be real with you. You're not going to be motivated every day. You're not always going to feel inspired. You're not always going to feel ready, but none of that matters. All that matters is that you show up anyway, that you push anyway, that you push anyway, that you refuse to be average even when average is easy. Because every second you waste wishing things were different is a second you could be building the life you say you want. So stop wasting time. Stop scrolling. Stop complaining. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Start. With what you have, where you are, just start. Some of you are talented. Some of you have gifts the world has never seen, but your lack of discipline, your laziness, your entitlement, that's what's killing your greatness. You're sitting on gold, but you don't want to dig. You're sitting on potential, but you won't push. Potential means nothing without performance. Dreams mean nothing without discipline. Vision means nothing without execution. So ask yourself, what are you really doing with your time? Your energy, your talent? Are you building or are you wasting? Are you growing or are you waiting? I.e. growing. Are you hunting success or just hoping it shows up? Hope is not a strategy. Wishes don't change lives. Work does. You got to become obsessed with your goals. You got to eat, sleep, breathe the mission. You've got to eliminate distractions, cut off dead weight, and lock your life depends on it because it does. And don't expect applause. Don't expect recognition. Don't expect anyone to understand the sacrifices you're making. They won't. But one day, the results will speak for themselves. And the very people who ignored you, doubted you, laughed at you, they'll come back trying to figure out how you did it. Stay focused, stay hungry, stay humble, because the grind is lonely. But the view is worth every drop of sweat, every lonely night, every unanswered call, every sacrifice, every painful rep, every failure that made you stronger. You want to build a legacy? Then stop thinking short term. Stop trying to go viral. Try going deep. Try getting consistent. Try being excellent so often they can't deny you. Because the ones who make history aren't the ones who talk the loudest. They're the ones who work the longest. You got to be the kind of person who doesn't wait for opportunity. You create them. You don't chase trends. You build standard. You don't follow the crowd. You lead it. And you do it with fire, with faith, with a fierce belief that even if no one sees you now, they will. The truth is nobody cares until you win. But when you win, everybody rewrites the story. So don't worry about the claps. Don't worry about the validation. Worry about the work. Fall in love with the discipline. Fall in love with the struggle. Fall in love with the version of you that rises through adversity, that grows through pressure, that doesn't need a stage to know they're chosen. Because greatness doesn't show up on day one. It shows up on day 1,000. It shows up when you keep swinging the axe, even though the tree hasn't fallen yet. It shows up when you keep grinding, even though nothing around you has changed. Yeah, that's where most people quit. That part, the in-between. The silent season. But not you. You're built different. You're wired for this. You were born to break cycles, to do what hasn't been done, to leave a mark so deep that the world can't ignore your name. But that only happens when you stop waiting to be rescued and you realize you are the rescuer. So stop saying, I'm trying. Stop saying, I'm trying. Stop saying, I hope. Start saying, I will. Well, must not. I am, because from this moment on, it's not about motivation. It's about movement. It's not about pain. It's about power. It's not about fear. It's about faith. So take the hit, wipe your face, and go again, because nobody cares. Work harder.